Non-religious people. What is your favorite god and why? Bathala. In Tagalog mythology, he created the world, then left us to our own devices. The creator has godly shit to do and can't be bothered with us lesser beings. Now that as an all-powerful being I can understand. Anoia, goddess of volcanoes and things stuck in drawers. Odin. He sacrificed an eye and hung on a tree to gain knowledge. He has pet ravens that bring him news, a spear that never misses, and an 8-legged horse. Also helps Harry Dresden. Honorable mention. Tyr sacrificed his hand to bind Fenrir. Is Thor's contemporary, equal, brother? Potentially. Depends on the source. He could also be the son of the Jotun giant, Hymir. The one that dropped the Coke bottle, causing tribal chaos. Most Greek gods, they are a bunch dickheads that fucks with each other for fun. Just like humans. Eris. aka Discordia. She's the Greek goddess of chaos and discord. When Zeus threw a raging party but didn't invite Eris, she showed up anyway. She threw a solid gold apple, with the words, "to the prettiest," inscribed on it, into the room. And 3 Greek goddess started cat-fighting over it. Freya. Of Norse mythology. She was in charge of love, fertility, battle, and death. She could be badass and feminine all at the same time. Also, she had a chariot pulled by cats. I love Egyptian mythology and cats, so Bastet is an obvious choice. I also really like how, according to their mythology, the goddess Isis invented mummification in order to reunite her brother's husband's body. Osiris. Cardia. The Roman goddess of door hinges and handles. https en.wikipedia.org/wiki/cardia. I just think it's interesting that they had a goddess for such a thing. The Navajo Spider Woman. Universe had to come from somewhere. Giant spider weaving it into existence makes more sense than a lot of the other origin stories. The Irish triple goddess. Brigid. Back when I was Catholic I was confirmed using Saint Brigid's name. The goddess was actually Christianized from the old religion. I love religious syncretism. Tezcatlipoca, aka the smoking mirror. The Aztec god of night and sorcery, as well as the patron deity of Aztec kings and young warriors. Eru, Iluvatar, 'cause he composed the universe into existence. The Fates. They seem to have quite the sense of humor in an oft-stinging way to their sport. Odin. He promised us to defeat the ice giants. I have never seen a giant my life, so he did a good job. Fortuna, the Roman goddess of luck. I read a book about ancient Rome and supposedly you were supposed to choose a personal god to guide you through life. There was one emperor, I forget who, that chose Fortuna, and he was one of the only ones to make it to old age and lived a relatively unscandalous life compared to the rest. Anoia. There's a goddess I can believe in. The goddess of things stuck in the drawer so you can't open it all the way. She exists. I've seen her work. And not just in my own home. Ganesh. For no other reason than he's got an elephant head. Shiva, probably. From Hindu mythology. He's supposed to be a god of gods, 'cause the other gods look up to him. Plus he's also the god of destruction who incinerated 3 planets after firing a single arrow. I mean, I dunno. But that sounds pretty badass. Edit. Changed, Indian, to Hindu, in the first line. Thanks for pointing it out, guys. Thoth. He may not be as flashy as some of the other gods on this list. But he's the ultimate scribe and scholar. A god of knowledge and of writing. Who gave writing to mankind. I figure he'd be happy with the life of learning that I've led. I like the idea of Shintoism. Everything has its own energy and place in the world. Wukong because he's a big monkey with a big stick and I think that's really cool. Thoth because he created writing, maths, and other feats of intelligence. He also tends to be very level-headed in Egyptian mythology. Nyx, the badass hottie who made even Zeus quake in his sandals. Hard to pick but I think Odin. He's pretty badass. Fierce warrior. Good with the ladies. Discovered writing. Yeah. Odin. Kuan Yin, goddess of compassion. Nice to have a god who purely exists to help people. Does the idea that each and every one of us is an infant god in making within the collective. Unconscious. Reliving each and every possible incarnation within reincarnation. Making it to be that we are basically one superorganism gathering every possible knowledge through experience count? Vier, the silent god, of the Aesir. Son of Odin. Half-brother of Thor. Vier was born for vengeance. Destined to avenge Odin's death by killing Fenrir. A task that he accomplishes with his mighty shoe. Seriously, his mystic weapon is a thick shoe with which he steps on Fenrir's jaw so he can tear apart his head. Think how much better the Avengers would have been with Vier instead of Thor. The scene where Captain America is finally worthy of Vier's footwear would have been hilarious. Hades or Artemis. Hades because he gets a bad rap and was actually a pretty chill dude who just let his wife handle the dirty shit, and Artemis because a sexual hunter goddess of badassery that wasn't common to see in that time. Freya. She was a Norse goddess of love, beauty, fertility, sex, and war. She rode in a carriage pulled by black cats and did whatever and whoever she wanted. Her exploits rival any god out there. She had a good time. But she also exhibited great compassion in choosing half of the fallen soldiers to go to Valhalla when she couldn't find her husband, Odin. She wept tears that turned to gold if they fell on land and amber if they fell in the ocean. Greek mythology in general, it's so cool and is super complex, it's amazing. There's so many different stories and gods and demigods and minor gods. Love stories. Fights. It's all so cool. It's more of a story to me. Hermes has always been my favorite. I blame Paul Schaefer tbh. Inazi the trickster spider. I like that he is always out for himself but often doesn't win in the end. He never gives up. The Hindu goddess Kali. She's just a total bad bitch. Divine femininity. Cutting off evil dudes' heads left and right. Inspired the Rolling Stones' tongue logo, and the Beatles centered a plot to one of their movies around a cult of her followers. Loki. He's neither good nor bad. He's both rolled into one. He does whatever he wants. He makes no excuses or apologies. I like to picture the Greek gods as like a sitcom. Ha ha ha. Classic Zeus. He cares not for such things. Hephaestus. God of technology. If he existed today, he'll be like Tony Stark. Either Loki for his chaotic queer energy, or Hathor for her hilarious origin story. Persephone. As sad as her story is. Getting kidnapped and taken into the underworld. Her story always fascinates me. Nowadays, though, I've seen many people romanticize her story, which I find kind of weird. Both the gods and the oryxes of the Candomblé and Umbanda religions are very fascinating to me. Given that I'm a Brazilian, and the history of those two, particularly the Candomblé, are a huge part of the history of my ancestors. Edit. Also the oryxes, gods of any given African, Afro religion. Hestia seems pretty chill. Also, YTF are all modern religions monotheistic? We need more pantheons, people. I'm Christian. But how have none of y'all said Dionysus yet? Dionysus is the Greek god of wine and fun. Went to his house when I went to Greece. It's like a 20-minute boat ride from Mykonos. Which is just so fitting. Baphomet. The symbolization of equilibrium of opposites is really neat. And I love how the imagery is very representative of that symbolism. Plus, people think it is satanic, so it is fun to watch people get wide-eyed when I mention Baphomet. Nataraja. The whole universe is represented within his image. I find it amazing. Medjid. Literally just an invisible guy in a sheet who shoots lasers out of his eyes. Ganesh. It's just a dope-ass god and the statue always looks sweet. Pangu. From Taoist mythology, Pangu is the result of Taiji balancing. He is the creator of the earth and skies. After his death, his corpse became the world. It is similar to the story of Orgelmir from the Norse poems. Aqua. She's pretty useless, but hey, if I need a drink I just need to look for her booze. Glykon. The snake god who was probably a hand puppet. Alan Moore claimed to worship it.